Okay, we're back to Beyond Exile. We've completed the 5th chapter, which was Thanksgiving Light, and introduced a character, Jackson, who went through some struggles and went through electroshock therapy, and eventually his friends put him on a plane and sent him out of Berkeley back to his mom in Atlanta. And we're getting the 6th chapter, and so we have Frank and Toby as two friends who share a halfway house. They're driving. They are leaving the Oakland International Airport and return to Berkeley, and south of Berkeley, and then they return to the campus of UC Berkeley. And we begin chapter 6, which is called The Recurring Dream. And as soon as the chapter begins, we notice one up in the inventory, instead of there being a van with Toby and Frank, it's now says a white Cadillac. So what has happened is some time has gone by, and Frank is sold or traded in the van for a Cadillac, moved up a little bit in the world of luxury with his transportation. We are Frank driving around. Toby is with us. He's probably in the passenger seat, and that's where the recurring dream begins. From here, as you may remember from the last one, west takes us to San Francisco, south takes us back to the halfway house, east to the dry cleaner. This is a new direction, so let's try this one out. This takes us to northeastern Berkeley. At which point, let's see, we can go southeast or northeast. There's no interaction here. Let's go northeast again. And that puts us in this scene 30, the Rose Garden. And we notice police car, units 12 and 6. I guess we have to look at these, though I'd prefer not to at this point. But we'll look at the car. No reaction to that one. We'll look at this other one. Frank's running his white caddy up the Rose Garden when he sees two police cruisers. But he can go back. He's going to turn around. He doesn't like this. He goes back to northeastern Berkeley. There's two more cars. He's going to go southeast from here. The bustling area of Sproul Plaza. Eshelman Hall. Let's look at the Eshelman Hall on the campus. And there's no interaction there. Goes south again, and it says the exit hallway between the police station and the Sproul Plaza, which must be adjacent to the college. Okay. Alright. Not where he wants to be either. So he goes back, drives back, and I guess we have to look at these cop cars too. Car 11 is a Crown Vic, and car 17. Rushing massive in the rear view mirror, two more power sliding ahead. Okay. And we can't seem to leave. Toby is out of the car. Let's see what he did. Toby's at the passenger window, shaking out a baggie, walking badger free. Alright. And at which point now, Frank's out of the car, so it looks like the cops have stopped him. As they spread eagle Frank on the trunk, pat him down, bang his head on the post, and take him to University Station. So, it would appear that Toby jumped out and ran away, and Frank just got busted, or at least they're taking him to University Station. There's 4 cop cars now in the scene. Crown Vic, There's another one. And after looking at the cop cars, they take him to the station. It says he's shoved in a cell with a cracked seatless toilet and metal mesh bed. He paces for hours, analyzing his mistakes. And Frank is in a jail cell. There's a cot right here and a toilet. We are Frank, and I guess let's look at the bed. It's the only thing in here. Then lies down on the empty diamonds and rejoins his recurring dream. Well, look at some shut-eye here. And it's he's catching some Z's. And let's see what's going on. And he's in a dream now. The recurring dream. So, he's fallen asleep in the jail cell. He's been busted. And he's having a dream. And there's 3 things in this dream. The fight, Aaron, and grandfather. Let's go to Aaron. See what he thinks of her. And nothing happens. We click on that one. Right? Let's try the father. Let's try the fight, the first one. It starts with the fight, the day he came home from Leningrad. His father's right cross grazes his jaw, a left uppercut to the stomach, then bowled out the front door and thrown sprawling on the lawn for his communist beard. His mother crying, his younger brothers and sisters staring, learning the way kids learn. He walks down to Magnolia Avenue with his Russian sports bag, retracing the morning route to Ramona High, kicked out of the house, stripped of mother and siblings by his father in political rage. He's alone. So, looks like Frank's our little communist here. And his father hates him. Nice. Okay, how about grandfather? Grandfather was killed 3 years ago, kicked in the chest by a favorite filly. But Frank is having a vision of his grandfather. Let's look at that. Grandfather was the one who taught him how to be a man. A boy knows without knowing. This is where all knowledge starts. And then he has a vision of his father, who he had a fight with. His father is an intelligent imposter. His primary motivation is fear of failure. His most apparent satisfaction is tyrannizing his wife and kids. So the fight makes it official. He's liberated from family. He'll live on the wind, his wits, his luck, women and friends. He'll turn exile into art. But nothing erases this insult, and his dreams soon reflect a mounting desire for revenge. So we see here more of the dream. And there's revenge in jail and elsewhere. Let's check out the revenge he's talking about. In the recurring dream, he kills his father by monkeying with the brakes. This rings true because he knows little of cars and nothing of brakes. What else is in his dream? In jail. In the dream, he's in jail, solitary, a metal mesh bed, a cracked seatless toilet, 20 to life for patricide, killing of the father. And more of the dream, revenge in jail and elsewhere. He's also elsewhere, walking up, down the world, thinking, strategizing, investigating the interior flame of gnosis, the material hate of material. In this other life, he sometimes wakes, thinking this is Owl Creek. He never murdered his father, never went to jail, but hanging on the bridge increases his anxiety until he craves any plausible certainty. Which dream is dominant? Did Oedipus only imagine his patricide? Was Thebes just a prisoner's final fantasy? What about the blindness? What about Colonus? Who really monkeyed with the brakes? More of the dream. And we have the question marks at the bottom. And it says, a vision of mother. Let's look at the vision of his mother. When he was young and his mother whispered of divorce, he suggested finding a lawyer. He felt her suffering and helplessness, her need of cultured friends, of art and opera. But his sisters were small. She thought it better to wait. They embraced, and Frank kissed her, tasted her, his sperm flowing over her breasts, like first milk. He has no protection from this dream. It stays away for months, then invades him 5 nights in a row. He hates the Freudian touch. At this point in the nightmare, it's looked like he'll wake up out of the dream. Wake up, Frank! His thirst for revenge must never jeopardize his freedom. Jails his unconscious mind, juggling the undone with the undead. He'll confound the oracle. He'll go abroad, as far from his father as he can. But now he wakes from his dream, in a cell beneath administration, close to the spot where Mario Savio coined free speech, which was on the campus at Cal Berkeley. And Frank is awakened from this dream, and there's a prison guard in front of him. It's dawning as Sergeant Tipton and Captain Poole take him to the interrogation room. So we're in scene 32 of an interrogation room. And there's 2 officers here with Frank. Sergeant Tipton, Captain Poole. Let's look at the first one. Take him. No, you can't take him. Speak to him. No. Look at Captain Poole. Anything? Take him. Speak to him. Ah, to Frank. Are you ready to talk? And as Frank, we can laugh, say, what's the charge, or never. I'm not big on talking back at cops, so I'm just going to ask politely, what's the charge? To Frank, GTA. Shrugs or goes, what? To Frank, Grand Theft Auto. He shakes his head. Then he looks at Sergeant Tipton. The plates to the car you're driving are registered to one Harvey Phillips, says Tipton. Let's see. And what does Poole add to that? Anything? And his wife Alicia reported it stolen at noon. Huh. So Frank says, I'll wait for my lawyer, or you're busting me for stealing my own car. How about I'll wait for my lawyer? That didn't do anything. Let's try again. And his wife Alicia reported it stolen at noon. Let's try the other one. You're busting me for stealing my own car. You're busting me for stealing my own car? Let's look at the other cop, Tipton. And it says, it's not your car, says Tipton. Harvey Phillips, says Poole. His wife Alicia, says Tipton. We know what you're working, says Poole. They're searching the car as we speak. They'll find the drugs and plastic. Then you'll be some gorilla's lifetime hole unless you cooperate. So, Frank now notices there's a mirror in the room. He looks at the mirror. The officers are temporizing, trying to gauge his reactions, signaling to their superiors in the mirror. When Frank laughs, "It's not the dream." "What?" asked Tipton. "Do you want to make a statement?" asked Poole, before disappearing. So now you're Poole, one of the police, and we can look at Frank. And then there's a place in this room. It says Exit A. So let's click on that, and it says go here. So let's go to Exit A. It's Poole. And Poole, exit door to interrogation room A. And he can leave the room, and then we're in the south corridor of the police station. There's the door A, can go north, and the north corridor of the police station, and there's a door B, takes us to another door to the interrogation room B. So we can go to another interrogation room, which is located on the other side of that mirror. And inside the mirror, inside this room, through a mirror, you can see the shadow. There's two people in this room. There's looks like a woman and then another character here. It's a two-way mirror. And then there's a character named Desi in this room. Look at Desi, nothing. Let's look at the two-way mirror. And when we do that, we look back into the room where Frank is, in room A, and Tipton is left with Frank in the mirror. We're observing this. Let's look at Frank and see what he does this time. Nothing? Alright, let's look at the mirror. Let's see which who's going to blink first. When we do that, Frank laughs again, remembering how Toby sauntered away, whistling Hank Williams. Is this where I demand a lawyer? Shall I confess to conspiracy? Shall I explain to the Berkeley police the sordid story of LBJ and what he told his mistress the night before Dallas? Shall I introduce Bierce? It's not your car, says Tipton before disappearing. So now we're the other officer, Tipton. And we can also exit. And we exit A. And we can follow the similar path. Let's go north. To the north corridor, B. To the door to the interrogation room. Right here. Let's go here. And now you see Desi and Poole are in this room. And Frank is all by himself. They're sweating him out all by himself in that room, trying to figure out, gauging his reactions. Let's look at the mirror again. Frank stretches on the table, shielding his eyes from the overhead lights, whistling, "Move it on over." A tap on the shoulder. And now, back in the room, we're Frank, and in the room, this character Desi has walked in. And I guess she must be the boss of Tipton and Poole, since she was watching the interrogation earlier. Let's look at the mirror. Nothing. Let's look at Desi. Frank, he wheels. It's Desi. Short brown hair, charcoal business suit, a New America pin in her lapel. Alright, let's speak to her. To Frank. I apologize for any inconvenience, Frank. So apparently, these two know each other. And Frank goes, you apologize? She pronounces his name so sarcastically, it sounds Romanian. He looks at her. He speaks to her again. She goes to Frank, it looks like we have the wrong man. And Frank can say, you don't say, or you mean you have the wrong car? Let's try that one. The wrong car, says Frank quickly, reading the danger well. Desi's changed and stayed impeccably the same. She always was reptilian, but now her lips echo rotten flesh. Her tongue flicks hidden sources of heat, and she never blinks. She's become what she is. Wasn't that the goal of the revolution? Let's look at her again. Speak to her. How are you, Frank? I resigned, or I'm fine? I resigned? That didn't work. Speak to her again. How are you, Frank? I'm fine. We need to know each other better. You'll have a top assignment, and I'm your contact. Remember, I'm the only one who doesn't betray you. That's all. You can go. So it appears that they just brought him in with, him not committing a crime, just to get rousted by a prior acquaintance of his, Desi, who's in some sort of power in the police, or some organization anyway. Desi accompanies the command with a look linking erotic fascination to professional contempt. Speak to her. Officially, you're under bench probation for GTA and resisting arrest. I wouldn't steal any more smoked oysters from the North Side Market. I'd be extremely careful crossing Telegraph, and be on your best behavior when Sergeant Tipton calls, she says before disappearing. So now we're Desi, and I guess we're going to take this trail of tears, if you will. Exit A. We've done this now. I know what we're doing with this. We leave. Go up here to the other room. Go inside. The other two officers are there. Frank's by himself. Look at the two-way mirror. Frank's immediately on his feet, flexing, looking for the trap. He still has his wallet and keys. The steel door is open. Let's look at the two-way mirror here. And once again, we are Frank in the interrogation room, and he's all by himself. Let's look in the mirror. Nothing. But Frank now can get to exit A. He couldn't get there before. So let's see what happens if we try and escape or walk out. So we exit A. We go to the corridor of the police station. Did we try going to the interrogation room B? Let's try it. And we can't get into the room. The door's locked. We can't get in, which is probably a good thing. So let's exit, and we can go north here. We didn't have that exit before, down the hallway again. And then we're at the exit hallway between the police station and Sproul Plaza. We kind of saw this earlier in this part of the adventure. So we leave, and okay, we're out on the street, the bustling area of Sproul Plaza. And this is again where Mario Savio coined free speech at one time. Look at Echelon Hall on campus. So he walks Spanish up the steps to Sproul Plaza, observing with renewed pleasure the Brownian motion of bustling students headed for first period class, until his spine starts rattling like 100 ice cubes from the surprise meeting with Kali. And that will conclude Chapter 6, The Recurring Dream in Beyond Exile. Thank you for watching this, and we'll look forward to the next installment of Beyond Exile.